right. Well, and like that, everything changes. So, Thomas Victor was correct. Out of what everybody said, Thomas Victor is the person who had it closest. There was going to be a form of new regionalism. Then everybody could concentrate on their type of nationalism. There would be a simple way that people would be able to travel from place to place within that region. Of course, this would so naturally, this would be very natural to the Ummah, which already had a lot of this kind of going on, but now it's settled. Because what do we use? The U.S. petrodollar. Or we did. Zero Hedge, Sunday, April the 2nd, 2023. Oil surges in early trading after OPEC Plus surprising unipolar world challenging production cut. Update, as one would have expected, oil prices are surging at the futures open with WTI up over 7% near $82. So I guess that's $82 per barrel, its highest since January. Additionally, less than 2 weeks after slashing its 2024 Brent price target from $100, wait, no, I have this all the way to the top, right? Brent hit $86 per barrel. America was hoping through diplomacy to get a sweet $70 per barrel. And so OPEC Plus, the fundamentally kind of what you would call on the left the brown world, has said, "Niet, my friend, no. We see now you are weak, for you are man with lipstick and dressed on. Yeah. We are going to kick you in the fucking butthole and laugh at you while we smoke cigarettes." Additionally, less than 2 weeks after slashing its 2024 Brent price target from $100 to $94, Goldman done a full 180 and late on Friday raised its 2024 Brent forecast from $100 and back to $100 and 2023 oil price target to $95 from $90 and from $95 previously. So this is the $100 a barrel of oil. It's a nice round number, because then you could calculate very easily how much that would be in gold. Which, remember, they told us. Vlad told us, he said, well, at $60 per barrel, that's pretty much the amount of an ounce of gold. Wait, hold on. No, hold on. No, that's not right. Gram. At that point, it was a gram of gold. That's it. I think that would be be a gram of gold. Because, yes, at that time. Because of a massive drop. Because that's when I accumulated a little something. So, at this stage, now that I'm thinking about it, this is 5 ounces of silver. Now, there's some people who watch this that you know enough about electronics, you know enough about like what silver is used for at an industrial level. So this is 5 ounces. This is the worth 5. So a barrel of oil, 5 ounces of silver, apparently. That's what we're looking at. 9 members of OPEC Plus announced today a surprise voluntary collective output cut totaling 166 million barrels per day, which will take effect from May till the end of 2023. As we have argued, OPEC Plus has very significant pricing power relative to the past, and today's surprise cut is consistent with their new doctrine to act preemptively because they can without significant losses in market share. As we already assumed that Russia cuts would extend into 2023, I think that's, second quarter, I believe, is what they're saying. H2, 2023 H2, I don't know that reference. We are lowering our OPEC Plus production and 2023 forecast by 1.1 million barrels per day, incorporating this significantly lower OPEC Plus supply, slightly lower demand, and modest French SPR release. We have nudged up our Brent forecasts by $5 per barrel to $95 per barrel, versus 90 previously for December 2023, and to $100 versus 97 for December 2024. Just so everybody understands, Europe is over if that happens. Western Europe is donezo. It's done. At this stage, like specifically Western Europe, especially with how this huge swathe of countries, I think it's 18 within the last week, I believe, it's within a month or a week, have all jumped on board the new currency trading system, so that Russia and China and India are the real anchors for, and how they're doing their commerce. Yesterday I was watching a YouTube video, and so this YouTuber seemed to, fundamentally, YouTuber 1 is in Siberia, outer or inner Siberia. He is a Angelino, former Marine, fell in love with Russia, and met a nice girl, and he's living in Siberia. And he goes to the store on his channel, and some viewer, who's also a YouTuber, just couldn't believe what he was seeing. He's like, did you stage this? And he's like, no, this is totally normal. This is what the store's been like. He goes, I honestly don't know the war is even happening in Siberia. Now, somebody earlier today I was talking to, they were like, well, that is far away from the action. And I was like, yeah, but where do you think they're getting Coca-Cola and avocados from? Avocados. I know I saw bananas, green bananas, like ripening, hanging from like something. I think it's wild Siberian. So, this has to be understood that the rest of the world is like, oh, okay, yeah, America, oh yeah, Ukraine, oh, giant mega Putin, Hitler, yeah, money, yeah, you're fucking, this doesn't feed us. And there's a whole lot of that now in our culture. There's a lot of that. I'm seeing companies that the Chuck Johnson rule. If the corporation appears to be concerned about telling people how altruistic or generous or charitable it is, short it. They have problems. And I'm seeing a company do that. This is not good. This would not bode well. This does not bode well. People absolutely depend upon this company every single day of their lives. and they're really, 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 really trying to pump up how charitable they are. So, and this is a major thing throughout the blue enclaves. I'm starting to follow this. I'm catching this in more and more places. So everyone's having a Schindler during the fall. But oh yeah, we're actually losing the war. So everyone's going to dance to the tune of the party, and they're all going to give glowing reports about how everything's going great. That's really seeing that with the Democrats themselves and the entire bureaucracy itself. Remember, one of the most important things about everything that's come up recently, gentlemen, who knew about all of these demographic issues coming up? Was it the left wing or the right wing that had the famous or infamous demographic demise? Who was on this a decade ago? So, now, and this is one of these where it's that whole, like, the first, the tide goes out, it's in the middle of the night, and you're sitting there with your wisdom, and you're going, that sound, the tide, it's going out. At night, at the wrong time, grab all of your things. We have to go. Alright. Finally, earlier today, we noted that heading into this OPEC Plus cut weekend, WTI shorts had trimmed their total exposure by the most in 7 years. However, as the next chart shows, there are still a lot of shorts left to cover, while the longs are about to exit dormancy. Update at 1500 Eastern Standard Time. The Financial Times reports that according to people familiar with Saudi Arabia's thinking, Riyadh was irritated last week that Biden administration publicly ruled out new crude purchases to replenish the strategic stockpile that had been drained last year as the White House battled to tame inflation. As an aside, we joked just a few days ago that contrary to its earlier reps and warranties, that the U.S. would start refilling the SPR if oil dropped below $72, that this won't be happening anytime soon, if ever. And according to the Financial Times, that was the straw that broke the OPEC's back. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm's statements that it could take years to refill the reserve sent oil prices briefly lower. The White House had previously offered reassurance to Saudi Arabia that it would step in to make purchases for its strategic reserve if prices fell. Of course, there was always the smartest guy we know for Biden to rely on energy policy. 1330 update. Well, we didn't think it would take long. A spokesperson for the National Security Council at the White House has responded to OPEC Plus's decision to cut crude production by 1 million barrels per day by saying that output cuts aren't advisable right now given market uncertainty, adding that the White House will continue to work with all producers and consumers to ensure energy markets support economic growth and lower prices for American consumers. And then that's the next thing. The blue enclaves absolutely positively, though often ports, do still require tremendous inputs in raw energy. And that energy has to come from somewhere. And no, he's not. No one's going to be able to sell some green this or green that. No. These fuckers are probably going to try to tell people they need to sacrifice for some cause in Ukraine. Europe will never be able to afford replenishing what they've lost. They cannot afford it anymore. And now, Remember, one of the biggest reasons why Europe, why the Libya thing and Algiers and all that is because there's these various Mediterranean pipelines. Well, if those countries now suddenly are a part of the plus in OPEC, if it and they decide, oh yeah, and then on, and it's all good because we could start trading in this other currency. Fuck you, France. Eat shit. Eat shit, EU. Oh, this is not. These motherfuckers played themselves, and they played themselves completely out of ideology and pride. I read the book that they're using as a playbook, The Next 100 Years by George Friedman, the guy who created Stratfor. Now, if you look into him now, he's not singing the same song. He literally is an advocate for nationalism. He gave up the idea of the big global chess game and this, that, and the other. He left. He started doing other things, and he became an advocate. And he defended. He actually did some weird show where he just would take questions and nail, and he would nail it. He would nail it over and over again with a smile on his face, like Grandpa, just explaining to everybody how ideas of global this and global that just are a fantasy that only can be fantasized by these people who live in an empire, at the center of an empire. And now, the denarii, our copper denaries, nobody's pretending they're gold anymore. Our pyrite denarii. It's going to take a minute, but the effects of this, they're basically standing there, just look like, this is a how much. This is now how much. And at some point, people are, even the Democrats are, there's got to be some of these people who get it enough that they're going to be like, you're going to have to start letting people pump for oil in the United States again. Like, this is it. I mean, this is done. Like, they got us. They nailed us. And this is because it's gonna take years for these companies to get all this shit up and running, so that they can make up for their fucking losses because of what we were up to. But even though a lot of that was no. There was there was a handful of things that got shut down, but there was a bunch of stuff that was exploratory, or at development stages that was cut short. And so, domestic production is going to have to come back on the table in some way, shape, or form, so that once again he gets felted again. He goes falling upward up the stairs because he can't even keep. We tried to keep that promise, but look at that. It made the entire world, own us, body us, just fucking body us. And and also then the thing is what's the currency going to be worth? What's the inflation rate going to be? Who's going to try to start doing a humongous project now, where you can't even find people to do the most basic fucking part of the logistics? I mean, this is poop salad right now. This is the one. Joe's agenda is getting bodied, but we're all going to feel this, and this is going to be fascinating to see what happens, because there's just this part of me that's like, so what do we do for the rest of the world? Oh, there we go. Halima Croft, head of commodity strategy at RBC Capital Markets, said Saudi Arabia was staking out an economic strategy independent of the U.S. after deterioration in relations between Riyadh and Washington during the Biden administration. It's a Saudi-first policy. Fancy that. fancy that. Have we heard something like this before? They're making new friends, as we saw with China, Croft said, referring to a recent Beijing-brokered diplomatic deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The kingdom was sending a message to the U.S. that it's no longer a unipolar world. Okay. Let's see. There was who cuts first, OPEC Plus or Fed, they said on Twitter. And more than 2 weeks later, we finally have the answer. We have a winner. Saudi Arabia to cut oil output by 500,000 barrels per day from May. In the all right, so that's top story on Zero Hedge at the moment. It'll probably be on the front page, but it'll probably move down a bit. But now, what the markets are going to be opening in just a handful of hours, I believe. So this is going to just be absolutely fascinating to see what happens. All right, and that's you all are. We're all experiencing history. You know, interesting times. Interesting times. All right.